The Public Complaints Commission, PCC, is saddled with the responsibility of receiving and treating complaints on perceived injustice and ill treatment from members of the public against individuals and organizations in the public and private sectors with a view to resolving them amicably. Now, established in 1975 under General Yakubu Gowon's administration, with late Alhaji Maitama Sule as the first chief commissioner, the commission has endured years mending relationships. The almost silent commission at a time has now suddenly become resurgent and busy. The Public Complaints Commission, PCC, under new leadership has now had over 23,000 complaints resolved amicably from the over 27,000 received in 2019 alone. Now, what exactly is the success story of a commission, that's a Public Complaints Commission, in the last few years, and how aware are people, that is members of the public, about the existence of a Nigerian ombudsman? These and more will be our focus on Nigeria Today. Welcome to the program. The platform is NTA News 24, broadcasting to you from Nigeria's capital city. I am Musbral and Wahab. Now, to tell us more about the Public Complaints Commission and the journey so far, I have joining me in the studio the Chief Commissioner of Public Complaints Commission, Honorable Chile Igbawa. You're very welcome, Honorable Commissioner.
Thank you very much, Musba.
Good evening,
viewers.
Very well. Now, let's start by knowing we need to create a foundation for this conversation. What was the reason for the establishment of this Public Complaints Commission that people call Ombudsman?
Okay, thank you once again. The Ombudsman, like you rightly said in your introduction, was created in 1975 as one of the products of the famous Udoji report. And the reason was the perceived impunity, tribalism, and all the other isms that we know about in this country that existed in the public service at that time. The objective was to have an independent body that could look at actions of government, and that led to the creation of the Nigerian Ombudsman under the name Public Complaints Commission. Now, the word public here refers more to the complainants or the persons that the Commission seeks to protect rather than its mandate, because it oversees both the public sector, that is the federal government, all federal government agencies, all state government agencies and its officials, all local government agencies and its officials, as well as all companies registered in Nigeria under the Companies and the Allied Matters Act, and any other company that's operating in Nigeria space under the auspices of the Act. So, briefly put, that was the objective, to ensure the removal of administrative injustice and bureaucratic corruption in the system.
All right, if you ask me, Chief Commissioner, this is a very important commission to recharge relationships between workers and organizations and even individuals. Now, over more than 45 years of the existence of this commission now, how are people leveraging on these opportunities provided by the establishment of your commission?
Yeah, the commission has, been solving problems under its mandate over the years. But we've had a problem that the commission was largely unknown to the Nigerian public. And being the people that are supposed to serve, if you are not known, you cannot be approached for solutions to problems. So, whereas complaints were coming in, there was growing and waning lack of confidence on the part of the public in the commission. One of the reasons being that complaints were not being treated with dispatch. When I came here, I met complaints that had been there for up to 10 years. And I insisted we must look at them, and in some cases when you call the complainant, he would say, look, I've handed that matter over to God. I'm not prepared to pursue it anymore. So it was a problem, waning public confidence in the commission. Secondly, for a period of time, the commission suffered from serious budgetary constraints. So it was unable to get to the public, by way of publicity. And secondly, the function of the commission itself is both movement intensive and stationary use intensive, because every day of the week, of the working week, we have hundreds and hundreds of investigation officers going from one point of investigation to another in all the states of the Federation. And maybe at this point I should just emphasize that we have offices in all the 36 states and another office in the FCT. So that's 37 offices headed by federal commissioners, and we have over 300 offices spread in local governments across the nation. So every day of the week, we're sure that hundreds and hundreds of investigation officers are on the streets going somewhere to visit a site of the investigation. So it requires movement. Vehicles are required, funds are required to fuel those vehicles and so forth. And paperwork is plenty, because you write letters as part of the communication and process of investigation, and you have to produce series of documents most of the time, because our clients are mostly the less privileged. Some of them, you cannot require them to produce 20 copies of a document they have submitted, so you have to reproduce them on their behalf in the course of investigation. And of course, when you sit, you have to have records of the sitting before a determination can be made. So the lack of funds also contributed in the level of service that was being rendered to the Nigerian people.
All right, it seems you have faced a lot of challenges in recent times to make your commission known. And now, with these efforts you are trying to bring on board, and the result you're getting in recent times, how are you working to overcome these challenges that you have tabled, you've mentioned? How are you working with relevant authorities to ensure that you get the necessary supports?
Yeah, first of all, regarding the issue of publicity to the Nigerian people, our sitting here tonight is part of it. Now we're able to get to the media, and like you say, you want to keep a matter alive, give it to the media. You want to kill it, give it to a committee. Now we're not about giving our work to the committee, we're giving it to the media, and we believe by that we'll get to the people. Now, I'd mentioned that we had serious constraints. We have had, to cooperate and then interface with the various agencies of government, the Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning, the National Assembly, which has oversight over the institution, and up to the presidency. We've had meetings with them over and over again and put our case forward. And I'm glad to announce that under the 2021 budget, the National Assembly enhanced the budget of the Public Complaints Commission, which was signed into law by Mr. President. So we are grateful to the National Assembly. We're also grateful to President Muhammadu Buhari for finally coming to the aid of the Commission. And the first result is that you can see us here today. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been here today. Secondly, we are building back self-confidence in our staff. I've met a staff with a very low morale and low self-esteem, because they felt, lesser citizens than those of their colleagues working in other similar commissions. But with this, we are bringing up back that morale to our staff and self-esteem, which is important for a person who is expected to investigate persons that may even be higher than him in rank. So it's very important, and I think that the results are beginning to come out. The other results we're beginning to see is that the efforts that we put forward has resulted in increase in public patronage. We have more people coming to us now than before, and we have also established some collaborations with other media houses too. We are on Human Rights Radio every Wednesday. We're on Radio Jordan FM every Thursday. We were until we ran into some hitches on FRCN every Monday, and these have aided the number of people coming to us. And in 2019, for instance, we received over 71,000 complaints, out of which we were able to successfully deal with 23,815. That compared better than the results we had in 2018 when I assumed duty,
right,
when we had only 58,508 complaints and could treat 21,597. So there is an upsurge in the Nigerians who are coming forward to the PCC to get, you know, social justice
right,
on complaints that they have. So that is a mark that the efforts we have put forward are yielding results, and the people of Nigeria begin to come forward to patronize the Public Complaints Commission.
All right, Honorable Commissioner, it's good to know all of this you've been trying to do. You have mentioned the fact that you are on several media, and I'm hoping to hear when you say you're also on NTA weekly to run your programs. That's just by the way. And you have also talked about the self-esteem of your workers, which is very important too, and the number of cases you have been able to resolve. Now, out of these, which one would you consider very memorable out of the cases you have handled?
Well, very many of them, I would say. What we have tried to do is we have tried to resist the temptation for media trials. Our objective is to ensure that persons who are placed in position of authority, whether in the public sector or the private sector, heed to the dictates of good governance, dealing with people like human beings and so forth. So we are not worried when we're able to resolve the problem. Once we resolve the problem, we rather keep, you know, they keep silent on those areas. But I tell you that several agencies that had issues that we have treated, issues of clear maltreatment. Even the NTA, we saw the problem in NTA.
Right.
We don't mention names, and we don't mention people because it may embarrass some people. But the important thing is that when the agency cooperates with you, you say you are wrong, and they say, please, we agree we are wrong, and we take correction, and they're able to resolve the issue that the staff has brought forward, then we are satisfied. And our satisfaction stems not only on the fact that you have promised to do, but that the complainant has written to tell us that that problem has been solved to his or her satisfaction. So we have several agencies, NTA, ministries, even the National Assembly, where things went wrong and were able to resolve. And they are all landmark cases, I would say. We also dealt with issues of foreigners. Mind you, the people we seek social justice for are not just Nigerians. Okay. Every other person resident in Nigeria. And I know there's a case of a foreigner, we wouldn't mention the country, but he was employed by a private sector company, and they ran into some problems, but did not handle it properly. And therefore they ran into bills and bills that accumulated, including his health bills and things like that. And the matter came before us, and we were able to point out to them that this was constituted an embarrassment to Nigeria, and that if a company conducts itself in a manner in which the nation will be embarrassed, then we will not only sanction you by making sure you resolve the issue, but we also recommend to the Immigration Department to cancel your, expatriate quota, so that you don't bring in people and cause embarrassment to the nation. And they realized that what we were doing was grievous, and they were able to resolve substantially the issues. I say so because the company was actually nearly distressed, but nonetheless they were able to pay most of the bills both in naira and in foreign currencies to the person, and the matter is they are still struggling. But we now know that it's not a matter of unwillingness to do it, it's a matter of incapacity to do it as quickly as is desired. But they have a program by which they are still trying to resolve the problem, and we expect that the matter remains open until every bit of thing that we determine that should be done is done to that complainant.
All right, thanks a lot, sir. Honorable Chief Commissioner. This is Nigeria Today. We're still discussing Public Complaints Commission and the journey so far. Now, let's go on the streets of Abuja to hear what people have got to say about the commission. In just a moment, we'll return.
Yes, I know about public complaint commissions. I have been following them on YouTube very, very well. I watch them on YouTube, And there was particular case they handle on YouTube are so much pick interest, and I recommend so many people who have the challenges to go and meet them. So I love them and I support them, and I want Nigeria, my fellow Nigeria, to give them the maximum support whatever they come across to them, because they are doing very, very well.
Nothing, what? Public? I haven't had anything like that before in my life. I don't even know that kind of thing exists in Abuja here. Nothing like that functions in Nigeria.
Really, Public Complaint Commission is functioning. The only problem that most of the citizens have no awareness of the function of the work. Actually, one have a similar issue that I went to the Public Complaint Commission and they table it. So that's how I know it's really working.
I've been hearing about it, but I have not taken any case there. And I believe they are making impact.
Complaints Commission is supposed to be a place where complaints are laid and then received, and then solutions are found. But from the situation of things in Nigeria, we have lost interest and hope on Public Complaints Commission itself, because we all know that at the end of it all, no good result will come out of it.
Right, a cross-section of Nigerians speaking on the streets of Abuja, talking about their various views about the Public Complaints Commission. And I see how the Honorable Chief Commissioner of Public Complaints Commission in the studio discussing the journey so far of the commission. Honorable Commissioner, you've just listened to some people in Abuja here that might not represent the all opinion or view of other people across the country, but hey, that's what we've got on the streets of Abuja. How do you respond to this?
Well, I think I agree with everybody who has spoken. A person who says he has never heard about it, and we mentioned that here before.
Yeah, very well.
That in a country of over 200 million people, if I cannot boast that 100 million have heard about the PCs, then I expect that a public, inquiry like that should bring people who have said, I've never heard about it.
Right, that's a pointer to the fact that you need to do more.
Exactly, it means that we just need more publicity. And I am assuring the public that going forward, now that government has turned its good eyes to the Public Complaints Commission by improving the budgets, which I believe will be coming in over the years, I believe that that should aid the commission to be able to keep in the public glare. Secondly, we have introduced measures that will improve the commission's operations.
What are those?
First of all, when I came in, we had an amorphous department of investigation. I now broke it down. Now we have two clear departments: Department of Public Sector Investigation and Department of Private Sector Investigation. That is speeding up the work.
All right.
We also had another such department of special duties. We abrogated that, and in space we put the Department of Public Relations, Foreign Support, and Interagency Collaboration. So the mandate is very clear. The director knows what he's supposed to do. So we are now sure that we can get to our targets because people are put in the right places. The other issue is that strangely I came in, there was no plan on ground in terms of a strategic plan. And we had to quickly put a team together, and we're able to produce a 5-year strategic plan. So we have a way of measuring our goals, how we're proceeding. The other very critical one is that since 1975, that this commission was established, the Act provided that the Chief Commissioner should issue guidelines on how complaints are treated. And I came in 43 years later to discover that none had been done. So again, I put up a committee and we produce what we now call the standard operating procedure. Under that standard operating procedure, we are able to eliminate undue delays and abandonment of cases, which was the case. We now can boast that we are able to treat some cases within 2 months, some within 3 months, some 6 months, no longer as it used to be that some cases were there for 10 years. Why? Because under the standard operating procedure, we have clear guidelines. When a complaint comes in, once it is received, the complainant is assigned an investigation officer. You can contact that investigation officer anytime to know the progress of your case. And then, whereas the Act provides that any communication out of the Public Complaints Commission must be responded to within 30 days. We have provided in the standard operating procedure that if 15 days after a letter is delivered and there's no response, there should be a written reminder. 21 days, no response, the investigation officer pays a personal visit to find out why there's no response. So that on the 30th day, if we don't receive a response, we may not wait any longer, we just issue a summons straight away for appearance. And there are consequences. The summons, once you receive it, you must appear. If you don't appear, there are consequences, very serious ones. So we are receiving greater response. The era of intransigent respondents is gradually waning out. And because of that, public confidence is being restored. Because you bring a case before a commission for solution, and you go wait years on end without a result, there's no reason why you will not give up on the commission. But now people come here and will tell you, okay, come back tomorrow, we're able to do this, and then you can call your own investigation officer. And I tell you that I get called even at midnight, and mostly from pensioners who are not paid. And when they call me, I realize that maybe they went into sleep and they couldn't sleep. So they just decided, I need to, relieve my tension. So when they call me, I don't get offended. I pick it up, I talk to them. And I also wake up my relevant director. At that time, I tell you, when you get to office tomorrow, bring up this case. And that way, we're able to hasten the process by which complaints are treated. So these are evidences that we're making steps. Now, I came in, the other problem that was the commission is that for over 14 years, the commission did not belong to any international agency. So Nigeria was completely, eliminated from the International Ombuds Agency, a global scene. But I am proud to say that within 4 months, I was able to restore Nigeria to the African Ombudsman and Mediators Association. And at the very first meeting that I attended in Kigali, in Rwanda, I was elected the regional coordinator for West Africa. To my staff, it was a feat because they felt after 14 years, you couldn't go and ask for an office. But we did, and we were able to get. 4 months later, again, I was able to restore Nigeria to the International Ombuds Institute in Vienna, Austria. So we're also a member there, not just a member. But there was an event we held in Nigeria here, which is the biggest event since the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. No event has been as big as that. We hosted the whole world, the whole Ombudsman institution, which was attended by ombudsmen of various countries and ombuds institutions from over 53 countries, spread across the 5 continents of the world. And that event successfully held here in Abuja. And the confidence even of the international community became clear, because at the end of that event, an election was held for election to the International Ombuds Board. And again, I was elected a director of that board. So it shows both at the local and international levels, we are restoring confidence in the Nigerian Ombudsman.
This is very, very good to know, Honorable Commissioner, and the Commission is becoming more responsive, and that's what people, I think, will expect more from the Commission. Now, let's talk about what you need, the tools you need now to become more efficient and effective in delivering of your mandate. What would you want the government to do in terms of legislation or a policy to help the Commission carry out its responsibilities more effectively?
Okay, like I said, I think that from the perspective of budget constraints, that has been resolved with the enhanced budget in 2021, and I believe that going forward, the Commission will not get below that baseline budget that has been provided. With that, the Commission should be able to procure the vehicles they need. They will have funds to get their staff moving as they should. We should be able to procure our stationery and all the rest. But again, like you rightly mentioned, the act establishing the commission, first, it was a military document, 1975. It was actually promulgated as Decree number 31. And it has undergone very little, amendments. There are areas that are certainly not useful now. Right. For instance, if we say somebody commits this offense, he should have a fine of 500 naira. I think everybody will happily commit the offense because they can afford 500 naira. So those aspects make it less stringent for people to be afraid to commit those unacceptable acts. Even though for an enlightened citizenry, the conviction is more important and grievous than the fine. Once you are an ex-convict, there are so many things you are losing in society. But because we are a money-conscious, society, you need to get a lot of money out of people's pockets for them to feel the pinch that what they have done is wrong and society will not accept it. So in those kind of areas, again, in terms of implementing the determinations of the commission, we need to strengthen the sanctions in those areas because some of them are not very direct. You have to go through some process to get them enforced. So those are the kind of areas that we are working. In fact, right now, as I speak to you, the National Assembly is working on amendment of some statutes, and the Public Complaints Commission Act happens to be one. And we have already put together our team of legal experts in the ministry and other management staff to work along with the National Assembly to ensure that those amendments are carried out.
Thank you very much, Honorable Commissioner. We have more time to talk about all of these issues that we have on ground about the joining so far of the Public Complaints Commission. But honestly, you've done well, and we expect some more from the Commission so that the public will continue to feel your impact. The Chief Commissioner of the Public Complaints Commission, Honorable Chile Igbawa, thank you so much for your time on this very important information today.
Thank you very much, Will.
All right, Nigeria Today is live every weekday at 7:30 in the evening. But you can watch these and other editions of the program on youtube.com/NTA News 24 Hub. My name is Musbadan Wahab. Join us again tomorrow for another edition.
She cries. She cries.